Shalom, I am Dr. Ann Davis. We're in the Hebrew Scriptures, and you might think, well, it's easy to think Hebrew in the Hebrew Scriptures, but that's not true. Because we have been brought up with a Western Greek way of thinking that is very different from the way of thinking in ancient Israel. In the creation account, we read of swarms of fish in the sea and birds flying in the heavens. This imagery is symbolic of the goal of God's people in a maturing process that brings them into God's presence. At some future time, the symbolism portrays God's selection of a remnant with nets catching fish in water that flows from the future third temple. The third temple will be in the millennial kingdom, which comes after the Great Tribulation. God said, let the waters teem with swarms of living creatures. Now, we just read the English and we don't understand that teem and swarms are the same word. Yishretzu hamaim sheretz. And you see that the three-letter verbal root is the same. God created every living creature that moves with which waters swarmed after their kind. There's the word again, sheretz, swarmed. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply. And fish represent the people of God. Man does not know his time, like fish caught in a treacherous net and birds trapped in a snare. So the sons of men are ensnared at an evil time when it suddenly falls on them. Now let's return to the fifth day of creation. God said, let birds fly above the earth in the open expanse of the heavens. God created every winged bird after its kind, and God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and let birds multiply on the earth. But we also got after its kind, and that's something that I want to address. In Hebrew, kanaf is bird, le minehu is a kind or a species, because God wants us to be righteous and produce righteous offspring. Now, the symbolism of birds. Those who wait for the Lord will gain new strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not get tired. They will walk and not become weary. And the flight of birds represents freedom and detachment from earthly things. Now we come to a future prophecy, and this is really interesting. In Ezekiel, behold, water was flowing from under the threshold of the temple toward the east. Now I want you to take a look at this picture that is taken inside the mosque that was built over where the temple was. The temple was destroyed by the Romans. The Muslims came in at a later time and they built a mosque in the same site as the temple because there's a huge rock that is considered sacred. Now, the Jews believed that the rock was holding down a massive amount of water under the earth. These waters of this river flow into the sea, the Dead Sea. And the waters of the sea are no longer dead, they're going to become fresh. And then we hear about after its kind. It will come about that fishermen will stand beside this great stream of water. From En-Gedi to En-Eglaim, there will be a place for the spreading of nets. And the nets are for catching people, symbolically. Their fish, representing people, will be according to their kinds, like the fish of the great sea, very many. So there's that abundance of the very many of the righteous ones. But not everybody is righteous in God's eyes when Yeshua returns, because we read, but its swamps and marshes surrounding the river will not become fresh, they will be left for salt. And that represents symbolically the people who are not yet ready to come into God's presence in righteousness. This represents God's selection of a remnant. God will select the righteous ones who can come into God's presence. So with that, let's look at the conclusion. In the creation account, we learn about swarms of fish that God commands to be fruitful and multiply. Fish represent people that are trapped in the net of the world. There are also birds flying above the earth in the expanse of the heavens. They signify freedom from the ways of the world. Future prophecy foretells water emerging from under the temple and flowing into the Dead Sea. Fishermen will catch them in nets according to their kind. This prophecy speaks of God's selection of a remnant. So with that, I will leave you. Shalom, and I look forward to seeing you in the next teaching. Shalom.